Welcome to the Reality Revolution. I'm your host, Brian Scott. Today we're going to have some fun and return to Anthony Norvell and one of his classic books, which is out of print, The Occult Sciences, How to Get What You Want Through Your Occult Powers. We've gone over a couple of different chapters in this book, and I wanted to go to a short one. It's a little bit short, but I love the content, and it goes along with the idea of reality creation. Today, we will discuss the occult secret of psychogenesis to fulfill your cosmic destiny. As with all the Anthony Norvell material, it's incredibly motivating, very unique, different than a lot of the other New Thought material that we go over. One of the greatest secrets that comes to us from the mystic lands of the East is the occult power of psychogenesis. This secret is known to only a few initiates in the entire world. Through this occult power of psychogenesis, you may release a cyclone of creative power that will fashion for you a world of infinite beauty and magnificence. You will now learn how to protect your thoughts to the invisible spiritual protoplasm that creates all things. Cosmic mind uses this mystic substance through the power of psychogenesis to fashion the world of substance and reality. From the astounding atomic building blocks of the invisible universe, cosmic mind can create the delicacy of a rose petal or the thick-skinned, bulky elephant. This creative intelligence seems to delight in forming billions of intricate, different designs for man's use and enjoyment. How occult power of psychogenesis works through vibration. Back of all forms of occult power, there is a vibratory rhythm or pulsation which issues from a higher cosmic intelligence. This creative power adapts itself to the plane of creation on which it operates. The vibratory rhythm of a rock is different from that of a plant. The power of psychogenesis can be caused to create all kinds of new and wondrous miracles that man never thought possible before. The chromosomes of the human body can now be altered by scientists at will in the laboratory, creating carbon copies on an individual and perpetuating the same identity physically as long as desired. Thus, a Lincoln with his sterling qualities, or a genius like Einstein, could be perpetuated forever, giving the same identical physical stamp, the same facial and bodily resemblance and proportions possessed by the original. This shows what a miraculous power is at man's disposal if he once learns how to harness this tremendous occult power of psychogenesis. Man is truly a miracle worker and now stands on the threshold of new and astounding revelations that will alter the face of the universe. How you can use the occult secret power of psychogenesis to fulfill your destiny. 1. To utilize the occult power of psychogenesis, you must practice harnessing the creative energy of your brain. Sit in occult meditation for at least 1 hour a day for a period of a month, giving yourself exercises in the control of your thoughts. As all occult power stems from your higher mind, it is vitally important that you control the nervous energy that is created by your thoughts. Concentrate the power of your mind on an idea that you wish to externalize in your life. This may be an idea for a new job, another home, more money, a better social life, or a new car. To generate sufficient power to crystallize this idea you want to externalize, it is necessary that you can concentrate exclusively on one idea at a time and not let your brain energy be scattered over a dozen different ideas. To help focalize this occult power, write down the idea that you wish to externalize. Make it definite and concrete, not vague and general. For example, I desire a new home I wish to live in. Name of the section. I want a 1-story house with 5 rooms, a small garden, garage, and a quiet neighborhood. It will be of white stucco with a red tile roof. The occult power that is within your mind can project this picture of your dream home to the cosmic mind, and through the force of psychogenesis, this house will come into existence. 2. In your next practice session, you might change the object you are trying to create through psychogenesis and ask for a new car, or a better job, or a suitable marriage partner. It does not matter what you're trying to create. The cosmic blueprint is already in existence in the universe, and you are merely projecting the occult and spiritual prototype through the power of your mind. If it is a car, state whether you wish a Ford or a Cadillac. There's a great difference between the two, not only in cost, but in the state of consciousness required. How a carpenter materialized a truck. Larry F., who attended my lectures on occult power in Hollywood, California, was a carpenter in the film studios. He made his request of cosmic intelligence for two things: a business of his own and a home in San Fernando Valley with a swimming pool. He had no visible means of achieving these objectives, but he was tired of the uncertain income from the job and desired his own business to bring him independence and a better life for his wife and 3 children. He faithfully practiced occult meditation, writing down the 2 big objectives he had, one each day, and concentrating on them in half-hour sessions. Within a week, he had 3 contracts for building playrooms, a nursery, and a garage. But now he had a real problem which he had not anticipated. He needed a truck to haul the lumber, cement, and other materials he required for his work. Quickly, he sat down and did his occult practice, asking for a certain type of truck which he could use for his work. He had no money to pay for such a vehicle, but he had supreme faith that something would happen which would solve his problem. Within 2 days, he received a phone call from a total stranger. He'd been given Larry F.'s phone number by a friend, and he asked Larry F. if he wanted to buy a pickup truck. The man was going east and would no longer require it. When Larry F. met the man, he found the pickup truck was the exact type he had asked for, even to the make. Larry F. signed the necessary papers, the transfer was made, and the truck he had asked cosmic intelligence for was his. Soon Larry F. had expanded his business to such an extent that he was making more money in 1 month than he had formerly made in 6, and the business kept growing at such a rate that within 1 year he had the down payment for his home with a swimming pool. 3. The power of psychogenesis comes into focus more readily when you invoke the aid of your imagination. Someone has said the imagination is God's workshop. It is an occult fact that all creative power released through psychogenesis stems from man's imagination. Each day in your occult meditation, use this power of the imagination to conduct electrical and magnetic energy from the cosmos to your brain centers, nerves, and muscles. All creation stems from the higher occult force that resides in man's mind when released through the creative power of the imagination. This occult creative law of psychogenesis is given in the Bible in the 1st chapter of Genesis, verse 26. And God said, "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth." Then in verse 27 it says, "So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them." The only place where an image can be conceived is in imagination. This law of psychogenesis, when invoked, can make you a creator, giving you the same power that cosmic mind possesses to create in your own image and likeness. How Mrs. Jenny R. used psychogenesis to create her destiny. When Jenny R. came into a study of occult science with me in my New York group, she had lost her husband, and her 2 children were married and out of her life. She had enough income to live comfortably, but she did not want just to settle down and vegetate, as so many women in their 60s seemed to be doing. Jenny R. had never been in business. She had no special talents, and when she began her occult meditations on what she should do in her first session, something spoke to her and said, "You have a sense of beauty and a flair for making your own hats. Why not commercialize on this ability to design beautiful hats for women?" Jenny R. forgot this idea for 3 or 4 weeks. She kept up her occult meditation, however, asking for psychic guidance. One day she was reading a fashion magazine, and there she saw a full-page ad telling of a contest to discover new designers in women's millinery. The contest offered new designers a substantial cash prize award and a contract with a large millinery firm if their designs were chosen. She sat down and worked on some sketches for hats such as she might herself enjoy wearing. She sent them in to the firm sponsoring the contest and confidently awaited results, certain now that some mysterious power was working to help her achieve her creative goal in life. Within 3 weeks, the contest closed, and one day, through the mail came a letter from the concern sponsoring the contest telling Jenny R. that her sketches had won the contest. She was instructed to come to the office to pick up her check and sign the contract to work for one of the biggest milliners in the business. 4. When you enter occult meditation to create your future world, you must know how to prepare the psychic matrix into which cosmic mind can pour its invisible spiritual protoplasm for creating what you desire. The psychic matrix is the mold into which invisible energy flows and shapes the objects to be created. The acorn is the psychic matrix of the future oak tree. The idea you have to make $1 million for some specific purpose forms within your mind a magnetic attraction to money. That idea shapes the substance of your mind within the matrix of your consciousness. Just as an architect draws a blueprint before the workers build a house, so too your mind must give shape and form to the design you want the master builder of the universe to shape as your destiny. If you wish to create the psychic matrix for a new automobile, visualize the make car you want. But go even further, see yourself driving it. Go to the beach or the mountains with your friends. See the color of the car. Literally make that car real to your higher senses, and you will be invoking the occult law of psychogenesis to create in the psychic matrix the car you have chosen. If it is a trip to some foreign country you are projecting, get travel literature of that country. Read up on the customs, the people's habits, the places of interest to visit. Soon you will have formed in the psychic matrix the magnetic attraction to travel that particular locality. How a lecture member visited mysterious Egypt through invoking the power of psychogenesis. A member of our lecture group, Florence S., used this secret of occult psychogenesis to project herself to Egypt. She had long had a secret desire to visit the pyramids and absorb some of the secrets of that ancient mystery. Within a year, Florence S. had unexpected sum of money that came through the sale of some property the family owned in California. Her share of the money was more than enough to finance her entire trip to Egypt. She took the flight, and all her dreams unfolded as though she was watching a movie unfold. On this trip, she took many colored photographs on slides. The colored pictures Florence S. took were so beautiful that she was invited by a women's club, to which she belonged, to show them, giving a little talk on her experience in Egypt. Soon she was being invited by other groups to show her slides, and this led her eventually to an extra source of income as a travel lecturer, which was an added bonus. 5. The psychic power of psychogenesis to create the events of your future destiny works under the laws of action and reaction. Action is the first law of the universe. A spiritual command, "Let there be light," started the atomic creative action in the void of the heavens, which began all creation. Atomic power begins to flow when you command the forces of nature to obey. Mental action precedes physical action. As you sit in the silence, concentrating on creating your future, start your mind working on some course of action. It does not matter what. As long as there is dynamic creative action, there is a mental action. There will follow muscular, nerve, and bodily action. The reaction will be in keeping with the initial mental action. Summary. 1. How the secret of psychogenesis can help you shape events of your entire future life, bringing you also a world of infinite beauty and magnificence. 2. The invisible atomic building blocks that cosmic mind utilizes for shaping out of cosmic protoplasm the world you choose to live in. 3. The law of vibration that exists back of all creation, and how to set into motion the secret power of psychogenesis that can work miracles for you. 4. How the power of psychogenesis works in nature to create miraculous forms of creation that carry out their life function perfectly under the cosmic law of instinct. 5. How science now uses the cosmic power of psychogenesis to change living forms into different shapes, creating giant chickens and animals and altering the chromosomes of the human body to produce perfect carbon copies of a Lincoln or Einstein. 6. How the Master Jesus used psychogenesis to turn water into wine and to feed the multitudes with loaves and fishes. 7. How you can perform even greater miracles through the occult law of psychogenesis and harness the forces of magnetism and gravity to do your bidding. 8. How you can use concentration to shape the psychic matrix into which spiritual protoplasm will flow that can create your future destiny. 9. How to utilize the creative power of your imagination to shape your future world. 10. How to use the psychic matrix to shape events that you want to occur in your future life. 11. How to create the cosmic blueprint that can bring your money, power, fame, and success in every department of your life. And that concludes this chapter, The Occult Secret of Psychogenesis by Anthony Norvell. Very short, but it's a launching point, and I'll do a short little meditation here. The idea is whatever you focus on for a long period of time outside of anything else, you create in a matrix, and it's just another way to imagine what we talk about. There is a spiritual substance, an invisible substance that exists in the universe that you invoke when you use your thoughts. And when you do that, it starts to form. And you see that thing that is formed within your consciousness in reality. It's very much like what we talk about already. But it is a process that you can be aware of. Now, in particular, this is something to look back on. It says to focus on one thing at a time. Some people find success in that. If you have been imagining multiple things and putting a lot of energy into multiple things, it may take longer. I believe that it's just a physical law. If you break apart what you're focusing on, you're putting less energy towards it. And even though those things may still be created, there isn't as much velocity or force pushing that reality into action. So it is helpful. I have found things that I like to manifest that allow for everything else to happen. So you could imagine that you're sitting in a new house that you feel is yours while you're hearing from someone else that you've got a new job, or you can add in layers to a single incident. What we've learned from the Neville Goddard literature is that imagination creates reality, and assuming the reality is the key to creating that reality. It's the same thing that he's saying now. I always find it so funny how similar Norvell is to Neville, almost like they come from the same cloth but are talking in a different way about the same things. Imagination, according to Neville Goddard, is God, is Jesus Christ. If you were to go through the Bible and just replaced Jesus with the word imagination, it would make all the more sense. You use your imagination. It's the most powerful thing. And if you use it in a certain way, which is very specific, in the first person, assuming as if it's a real thing, then you will find success in the thing that you're trying to create. You will find that thing forming in your present creation. Now, what I say is, when they were doing this back in the 60s, when this book was written, it might take 6 months to do, but there is a velocity, an increase that is happening in our reality right now. If you imagine things, you're starting to see it faster and faster. For many, the period of time from when you imagine something to when you would actually see it expressed in your reality was a buffer zone that is helpful, because you might think of an elephant and all of a sudden you have an elephant in your house, be very difficult to handle. So there's this buffer zone where you decide whether or not you want it. That buffer zone is shrinking. And also, I believe the amount of time that you focus on something that used to be required, hey, it might have required a few minutes, maybe 30 minutes. Then it got shortened. And as this energy that we're experiencing comes in, the psychogenesis as Anthony Norvell calls it, comes into play faster. I remember for a while there, I think Abraham said you have to focus on something for 17 seconds for it to take form in your vortex. Well, if that's the case, then I believe it's shorter now. And I believe that we're getting to a point where a singularity is going to kind of occur, where we're going to start seeing what we imagine in our minds taking form so quickly that a lot more people are going to become very careful about what they think. It will be very obvious. The delay that we have now makes it somewhat suspect. You forget that you even thought that thing when you experience it later. I would say the delay that we've had before has made it so that people can suspiciously doubt whether or not it was their thought that created the reality or something else. That's always been there. So what is happening now? It's becoming so obvious that you cannot deny it. It's becoming so obvious. That's why I suspect that YouTube videos about this stuff is so popular now. So I want you to just sit down for a second at the end of this episode, and I want to experiment with the powerful secret of psychogenesis. So take a moment and write down exactly what you want to do. You say, I desire a new home, or I desire a new car. I wish to live or drive in, and be very specific. And I want you to take a moment. You can put pause or just take a pencil and paper that's around and just take a moment and write this down. Exactly what it is that you want. First of all, I want you just to take a moment and imagine all the energy flowing into your brain, any nervous energy you might have, anything like that. Just see it all accumulating and moving to the mind centers, which can be beyond the actual physical brain, but the thinking centers within your mind that are attractive and have power. And I want you to, just for a moment, see this energy moving towards your brain, as he explains. Now, it is necessary for the next few moments to concentrate exclusively on this one idea. Whatever it is that you wrote down, that you've chosen, I want you to see that thing, to feel it, to bring it into existence. Maybe for a new job or another home or money, a better social life or a new car, whatever it is. Concentrate exclusively on this one idea. Vocalize your occult power. Add in all the details that you can. Now I want you to project this image that you've created in your imagination into the cosmic mind. Become the architect of your reality and create a blueprint. Become the master builder of the universe and shape your destiny. Make this image real to your higher senses and invoke this law of psychogenesis to create the psychic matrix for whatever it is that you desire. Very good. I will use the law of psychogenesis to imagine a most wonderful and joyous day for everyone that hears my voice. A feeling of bliss and happiness, of total love. I want you to feel it because I am sending it to you, and I am utilizing the psychic matrix of this planet to implant it within you. In any case, you've heard this before. This is the same thing we talk about all the time. It's just wonderful to hear it through Anthony Norvell. And you can come back to this episode anytime if you want to try this technique. Whatever you imagine becomes reality. In any case, I'd love to get your impressions of Anthony Norvell. If you have a favorite book of his or chapter that you'd love for me to go deeper on, I'm happy to do it. Lots more episodes coming soon. Be sure to check out the link in the description for the Aura program. Soon we will be announcing RealityCon 2. And I'll give you details on that. We're going to be talking about the new Earth, a variety of different speakers and topics. It's going to be very interesting. All episodes of The Reality Revolution can be found at therealityrevolution.com. And welcome to The Reality Revolution.